Good evening, everyone. Very happy New Year to all of you. And I'm very excited to join you from our Innovation and Experience Center, which we will unveil in this quarter. Q3 was a quarter where we continued to make progress in both platforms and enterprise business. And let me share my thoughts on both of them. If you hear all my commentary, I've been very, very consistent about my passion to build platforms. And I'm happy to see Wisely scale every quarter, demonstrating key metrics of every platform business: high margins, customer stickiness, stability, predictability, and asset light. Our platform business gross profit grew 26% year on year, and I'm excited to share that Wisely contributes 35% of the platform gross profit. I'm confident that it will scale up to 50% in the coming couple of quarters. I have talked in my letter about the three phases of the platform life cycle: innovate, succeed, and scale. Let me drill down on each Wisely platform in this context in the reverse sequence. In terms of scale, we have two platforms already in scale phase, which is Wisely Network and Wisely OTT, and I expect strong growth to come in these two platforms in the next couple of quarters. Wisely Network is on track to be 100 crore annualized gross profit, processing over 33 billion transactions through our AI/ML engines. Wisely OTT crossed 1 billion volume in Q3, generating strong gross margins. So I am quite confident that these two platforms will accelerate from here. In terms of succeed, we have Wisely Communicate and Wisely Engage in this customer success phase. We are evidencing our platform capabilities to select large customers, and we demonstrate our value proposition. We will move to the scale phase. Wisely Communicating is seeing strong traction with the banking customers. For one of the banks, around 50% of their critical UPI traffic is going through Wisely platform. On Wisely Engage, we are initiating a POC with a select customers in Q4. I'm confident at least one of these platforms will move to scale phase in the next quarter. In terms of innovation phase, we have a large platform in the innovate phase, and I'm personally very excited about what we are targeting to launch this in Q4, most likely in MWC Barcelona. This is going to be a truly global platform addressing one of the pressing challenges faced by the consumers globally. This is in line with our purpose of empowering consumers and enabling companies. On the enterprise business, we are showing steady improvements with sequential revenue growth at 2% and improvement of gross margin of 74 basis points. We see a huge competitive environment with some slowdown in tech spend in BFSI clients, but we are maintaining our market share and improving our margins. Deepak will talk in more detail about enterprise business in his opening remarks, but I'm confident that we will improve every quarter going forward. 2022 was a year where the focus was shifted to companies with a profitable growth and disciplined capital allocation. We have stayed true to our ethos, focus on innovation, organic growth or acquisitions, return cash to shareholders as against raising capital. We completed our buyback in January, and we have returned over 300 crores to the shareholders just in this financial year. I'm very excited about the year ahead. We are making right investments. We have the right team, and thank you for support. I now request Deepak to give his perspective on the enterprise business.
Hello everyone, this is Deepak here, and wish you a very happy new year. I'd like to give you some highlights on our enterprise business. As Uday said, we are seeing stability in our enterprise business, and we have been seeing improvement every quarter from Q1 to Q2 and now Q3. So we delivered 2% sequential growth in this quarter and improved our gross margin by 74 basis points. This quarter did not see the usual scale-up in the festive spend, especially from our banking customers, probably impacted by macro environment. The market remains quite competitive, and there are three specific areas where we are working to grow our business. The three areas I would say, one is to retain our customers and retain our wallet share in our existing customers. Number two, add new customers. And three, focus on other than SMS channels. So I'll elaborate here. And number one, we are, our customers with greater than 1 crore revenues have grown from 189 to 220 in the last 4 quarters. And sequentially, it improved from 208 to 220 customers. On adding new customers, we have added 210 new customers in this financial year already. So what is more interesting is that we have added some very large names, with a very large TAM. So there are some very large banks where we are integrating right now. There are some very large, e-commerce companies and some other verticals which we are on the integration phase. And these wins are going to help us in next couple of quarters to scale up our revenues. We are focusing on other than SMS channels, as I said earlier. We have done a very good job on WhatsApp. 1/3 of our wins are on WhatsApp in this year, and we have been scaling up in the last 5 quarters. And the way the WhatsApp is going, this year we would exit with 100 crores run rate. And we are seeing a significant momentum. I mentioned last time we have one of the very large PSU banks, which we integrated and it's scaling up very well. So overall, while the revenue growth is muted, I see opportunities ahead, and I'm confident of an inflection point for the enterprise business sooner than later. Thank you.
We'll be happy to take question and answers. Maybe open the queue for Q&A.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who has a question may enter star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Abhishek Bhandari from Nomura. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Sir, I had 3 questions. The first one is, you mentioned the competitive environment remains, fairly aggressive. If you could talk about, what kind of competition are you seeing incrementally, both from, existing CPaaS companies and some of the telcos who have been trying to enter into this business?
You want to list down all the 3 questions, Abhishek, and then we can take it one after the other?
Sure. The second one is, sir, if I look at your operating cash flow numbers, they have been either close to 0 for last quarter and, negative even for this quarter. Little surprised, why the operating cash flow should remain negative. I understand that the free cash flow because of the investment, it could be the case, but what's going on the OCF should explain. And third is, to their your favorite, rule of 40. We have dipped, significantly on that for last, I would say 3-4 quarters. When do you expect, again to reach that 40 mark on the rule of 40 kind of outlook?
Okay. Abhishek, maybe I'll ask Deepak to answer the first question. I will take the second question and I'll maybe ask Uday to talk on the third.
Sorry to interrupt management. Maybe I request you to just move the device a little closer to you and speak, because some participants have reported that they're not able to hear you that well.
Sure. Hi, Deepak here. Hi, Abhishek. And to answer to your first question, yes, as I mentioned, the market is quite competitive, and one of the large telecom provider also, made certain efforts to enter into this market the last few quarters. And other than that, there are other CPaaS providers who are also there in the place. But what I would say is, while there have been some disruption as we saw in Q1, but overall, if you look at our business, we have been able to retain our customers. We have been able to retain our wallet share, and we are very confident going forward that we would be able to gain. As I mentioned, we are gaining more customers. We have added a lot more new customers, and we would be able to grow our business from here. There are definitely, as I said, competitive environment is there, but are they really winning? Okay, and the answer is, I would say no, right? Because it's not that if you are providing great service to our customers, the kind of the way our stickiness is there, it's not that easy to move.
So Abhishek, let me take the question on the cash flow, right? As you know, we've had a good track record of cash flow generation. But, one particular correction of sorts in terms of an investment that we made in a strategic partnership with the telco, where we kind of gave better credit terms, right? So what is happening is that this is an adjustment phase where the entire impact of the change in credit terms is reflected in Q2 and Q3. We had kind of called out a normalized cash flow of about 78 crores is the operating cash flow if I normalize for it. If you look at Q4 and beyond, whatever adjustments need to be made are done. I expect that we will go back to operating cash flow of upwards of 70% of PAT, which is what we've historically been doing. So this is more Q2 and Q3 have been a quarter of adjustment in terms of reflecting the change in payment terms. This is why our DPO has come down. Our creditors have come down, and that is really what has affected it. But it's kind of that phenomena is over, and you will get back to a normalized cash flow from Q4.
Abhishek, on the rule of 40. So all I can say is, the rule of 40 or rule of 60 does apply only for SaaS companies. That's what we are also tracking our platforms business. If you look at our platform business, I'd say we are growing year on year at 26%, and I don't have exactly access to the EBITDA on the platform business, but if you combine the rate at which we are growing plus our EBITDA margin from our platform business, we are much beyond the rule of 40. So going forward, we won't report a rule of 40 mainly for our platform business. As of today, I think we are one of the best performing SaaS companies in our space. So, but going forward, we would like to announce rule of 40 mainly for our platform business.
Right. Thank you there. If I can just ask a follow-up. Do you think the industry has now settled at a lower growth number, and the last 2-3 years growth because of COVID-induced demand patterns are kind of normalizing? The reason I'm asking is overall it seems like the sector is heading towards normalized growth levels, and many some of the things like OTT registrations and all those are kind of rewinding. So happy to hear your thoughts. What do you see as a medium term growth number for the industry as well?
But Abhishek, Uday here. My takeaway is in terms of volumes. If you look at volumes, I think we are growing around 15% in terms of transactions, in terms of volumes, right? If you look at mainly UPI, the transactions, we have seen. Unfortunately, I cannot afford to really share the amount of numbers here, but we have seen a huge growth coming from UPI transactions, right? We serve most of the banks, and the UPI transactions are going to roof, right? So in terms of the new use cases, yes, as you rightly said, it has kind of stabilized in terms of use cases. But wherever we have integrated with the existing use cases, we definitely see the increase in terms of volumes. That's number one, right? So as we know, the revenue is a function of the volumes and the price. Price is the one which has kind of deteriorated in the last 3 quarters. We hope, though I cannot really comment or commit, we hope we have seen the worst, and I'm looking forward to the better days. So with that, I think we will be seeing the better growth. You just want to add anything?
Yeah, Abhishek. So as Uday mentioned, so I would say especially about India. So India, we have seen there is a good volume growth which is happening, and we have seen the volumes are growing about 18 to 20% year on year. Okay, and so and there are due to UPI transactions, overall number of transactions are high. As I mentioned earlier, also if the number of transactions go up, our industry is also just bigger and bigger. And we all know that digital transactions are going, month on month and year on year, they're growing, right? So naturally, our volumes will also grow. But one due to the price erosion, the price has come down, and that has impacted our overall revenues. But since we were able to manage better costing, that's why we were able to improve our gross margins by 74 points. On the other side, we also do a lot of volumes which are international volumes which are getting transmitted into India, which are very highly priced. And sometimes I'm not there. The growth is limited because the price is very, very high for each transaction, and this is only used for mostly for one-time passwords. And there the growth is quite limited. But as far as India transactions are concerned, the growth is quite normal.
Got it. Thank you for the detailed answers, and wish the management happy 2023.
Thanks, Abhishek.
Thank you. We'll take a next question. That's from the line of Balaji from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my questions. Actually, I have 3. The first one was regarding the volumes. So we did see that Trubloq volumes have been around 82 billion in the last quarter versus 89 billion in 3Q of last year. So what explains this decline? And I did get your answer to the previous question where you mentioned that the domestic SMS volumes are growing at 18 to 20%, but there has been some impact because of the higher pricing on the ILD SMS. So net, how should one look at the narrative going forward, both in terms of the blended volumes and the revenue growth? That is one. The second question is on this TRAI, which has been working on implementing a caller ID system along the lines of Truecaller. Though I understand that telcos are largely reluctant to get this implemented, in case this gets implemented, what are the opportunities and threats that you see? And my final question is on this revenue from new customers, which has fallen to rupees 322 million in the first 9 months of fiscal 23 versus 571 million in the same period last year. So any color on that? What explains the decline, and when should one expect this to pick up? Thank you.
So Balaji, let me answer the first question on Trubloq, right? Volumes. So if you look at Trubloq is still growing double digits YOY and sequentially also, right? I think some of the volume delta is largely because in terms of some of the non-chargeable volume around PSUs, etc., that come in, right?
Yes.
So, some of the traffic is exempt from a DLT charging standpoint. And, sometimes there is a variation with respect to that affecting the overall volumes processed through the platform. But if you look at it, and we've shared that both the volume as well as the gross margin, you will find that we continue to grow very well as far as Trubloq is concerned, given the scale, right? So that's on your Trubloq. I know you had a part two of that question in terms of was it ILD volume? Was that your second question?
No.
You had a question within this.
Okay.
So basically, what should one look at?
So the second question. Go on, Balaji.
Yeah. So basically, what should one look at as a more sustainable volume and revenue growth? I understand that the other channels like WhatsApp and all is doing quite well. This is more on the SMS front.
Yeah. So I think, both Deepak and Uday kind of talked about a volume growth that we still see around 15%, right, in India, right? Pricing has been little up and down, but I think on a normalized basis, you could see a growth rate. That would be a good way to look at from a volume standpoint over a medium term in terms of the India market, right? If I were to look at your second question in terms of Tribe caller ID, I'll just ask Uday to give his perspective on that.
Hi, Balaji. Hi, Uday here. So in terms of the TRA, this initiative, we have nothing to add here. We are not in the business of in the business. So it is up to the telcos and the TRA and the players who are in this market. I mean, the guys who are in the market, mainly Truecaller, other apps are there. So we have nothing to add, nothing to lose, nothing to gain. So it is quite irrelevant for us. So that is the second one, right? Third one, people want to take that? 9 months. New customers. The revenues are dipped in the last 9 months.
Yeah. So, Balaji, as I mentioned, we have had wins. We have acquired some very large customers, and but with the large customers, when you acquire, so it takes time to integrate. There are a lot of challenges, in terms of overall, integration, integrating those customers. So that's why the integration is going on right now, and you would see the impact in the next few quarters. So you will see a much bigger impact.
Okay, thank you. So I just had a quick follow-up on this caller ID system which TRA is talking about. While I understand that you may be largely unaffected by it, but is there a worry that since you have a strategic partnership with Truecaller, the volumes on Truecaller come down and there could be some second-order impact? I do understand that it's a little too early, but any thoughts will be quite helpful here.
Absolutely not, Balaji. So they are talking about voice business here, and we are talking messaging business here. Okay. Our estimation is that they have around 220 million users for quite some time in India. So we don't see any challenge with the 220 million. But it is on radar for quite some time, this topic, right? But it's not going anywhere, to be honest with you. Okay. So we're not too worried about this at all.
Okay, thank you. This is quite helpful. All the best.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from the line of Deepak Chokhani, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi there, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I have two questions. In your message, you did speak about a large platform to be launched probably in Q4. Could you elaborate a bit on this, and by when can we see the revenue to start kicking in through this platform?
Deepak, wanted to come out with what is your second question, Deepak?
So that's the first question. Basically, you did speak about a large platform which will be launched in Q4.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
And
so, Deepak, it's a good question. Yeah. Deepak, it's a good question. In fact, we have been building this product for quite some time, and so this platform needs approvals from the Indian telecom regulator. which we got it last week. But this platform has to be deployed with them, and they probably will come and audit the platform. And once they sign up the sandbox, we will do a POC with 3 large banks, which we already signed for it. It's only POC. Once we see the success with the 3 banks, which is going to happen in sometime in Q1 of next year, then we are going to push this product to the commercial launch. So there are 3 phases, as I told you earlier, but this product needs a bit of approval from the TRAI. It needs various approvals, but we got the initial approval, and where we have to showcase our platform, and this platform is under deployment. But definitely our intention is to launch, at least to showcase this platform with international regulators and also international enterprises like in Barcelona. Most likely we're going to launch on 27th of February in Barcelona. So we are pretty excited. I'm not trying to give you any. I'm not here to make any forward-looking statements in terms of the potential. But it is going to address one of the biggest challenges that mobile users are facing globally. So we are pretty excited, and we have been developing this product for quite some time. So please stay tuned, and probably we should be able to hear something from Barcelona on 27th.
Perfect. All the best. So just a bit on that. Will that be a B2B kind of a product or a B2C?
It's a B2B, but as Deepak have been talking about, our customers are equally important for us. Okay, to protect our customers is the one which is on our agenda, and this product is mainly to protect the all mobile users. This is mainly B2B to B2C. So they want to offer the services to the B2B, but to protect their users.
Deepak here. So just to make it simple, I mean, you, me, everyone will get benefited out of it. So as mobile users. So it's like this. But yeah, we are a B2B company. So yeah.
Understood. I got a bit of a gist on that. Thank you for that. So my second question is, Uday and you both mentioned that the business is at an inflection point. So usually we have a seasonality in our business wherein the Q3 is the best, Q4 is 2-3% less than Q3, and then it tapers and then again picks up in December. So are we saying that this year we're going to reverse that and probably Q4 and then Q1 and Q2 might keep on getting better and better, so that the seasonality this year will be done away with?
We hope so, Deepak. We're working towards it.
And okay. And just the last question, when do you think the industry will reconcile to this pricing pressure? Of course, the telecom operator which is throwing in these prices, I'm sure they're also losing money. I'm sure the industry is talking to themselves. What's your guess or what's your analysis that when could this end?
I feel worst is over, and things are getting better. So this much I can say, and you would see in next couple of quarters things should be much better. We are very confident about it.
So just there are no Chinese wall issues. Like how can a telecom operator? I mean, I'm just trying to understand. I mean, that way. I mean, globally. I mean, I've seen. I mean, not many telecom operators are in this particular business. This is so small for them as part of their bigger kind of revenues. Aren't there any Russians or Chinese walls wherein the telecom operators can't do something like this?
No, there is nothing like that. I mean, if they want to, they can do. But as you said, globally, you won't have seen any large telecom operators getting into this business. because this is a very this business has its own nuances, and it's and that's how it's been. The CPaaS as an industry is there, and CPaaS providers are there to actually provide the services to the enterprise customers. And I mean, this is what it is. But let's see how it goes.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Nirvana Laha, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I have 4 questions. I'll just place the questions one after the other. So in Q1 call, management had guided that you expected EBITDA to come up to 20% by Q3. So we are still quite a way below that, 17.4% now. So what happened there, if you could give us some commentary, and when can we get back to 20% levels? Second, on TrueBlock, the revenues seem to have come down by 18% YOY. At least assuming that all entire last year, same quarter revenues would have been from TrueBlock platform revenue. The revenues seem to have come down by 18%. So I know you answered this to an earlier participant, but could you help reconcile this? Third question is on Wisely Communicate. So one of the key features that Tanla is talking about here is E2E encryption of SMS, right? But as far as I know, nowhere in the world regulators have mandated SMS encryption. So are we really bullish on this feature, or are we banking on the other features of Wisely Communicate for the product to take off? And my last question is, you have mentioned that we now have 611 employees. So how many of them are deployed for driving our business outside of India? That is the non-India business. Thank you.
First one, yeah. So the first two, let me answer, right? So if you look at it, we saw a major disruption in Q1, which kind of, resulted in one of our large customers kind of going away, and we dropped our margins, right? And we said that we will improve and move to 20% by Q3. I think the challenge what we've seen is our expectation in terms of the two aspects, right? One is in terms of return to normalcy on pricing, took a little longer than we thought. The second aspect is in terms of just the macro growth that typically one sees in Q3, which usually is always has a big boost with festive spending. We did not see that happen, right? And Deepak and Uday kind of talked about it in terms of what has happened, right? So definitely we've been delayed in terms of the kind of recovery that we thought we will see as far as the enterprise business is concerned. Having said that, every quarter we do see improvement. It's taking a little longer, but, as Deepak mentioned, right, we are optimistic that, it will continue to improve and we will get there. Right? On your second question, I think you're reconciling between 35% of platform gross margin coming from Wisely vis-a-vis the base effect. What I can tell you is that, TrueBlock has grown 15% YOY, right? So it's not, there are other smaller platforms, some of which have got, cannibalized through our Wisely network. And, that is where the big growth has happened. But if you look at from a TrueBlock perspective, we've been growing consistently. There is no change as far as that is concerned, right? The third question on Wisely Communicate end-to-end, I will ask Uday to give a perspective on that.
I thought you would answer. Oh, okay. Fair enough. So Nirvan, is very simple. Wisely Communicate comes with a lot of propositions, not limited to only end-to-end encryption. The network, its whole network runs on the blockchain, where it will eradicate counterfeits, which is a big concern globally. And third one is it can offer many, in fact, it offers all the channels with one single API, and it can offer many the suppliers So just imagine, like, HDFC, one of these banks, just downloads a piece of software in their cloud, and they have access to all the channels, they have access to all the partners, all the suppliers data, and the reports are written on the blockchain, the CDRs are written on the blockchain, and you get the reconciliation on the file. So it comes with a lot of propositions, like. And in fact, I don't agree with the point, like, I'm not too worried about SMS being not encrypted globally. If you look at even WhatsApp, it is tightly encrypted end-to-end. That's the single largest proposition. Going forward, once the data bill is in place in the next probably 1 or 2 quarters, I think people are going to take this data privacy and better security very, very seriously going forward. Right now, all the man in the middle, rather third party, has got access to your data, which I'm sure will be appreciated in due course. So I'm sure we're pretty gung-ho about wisely communicated. And in terms of employees, Arvind, you have a number?
Yeah. So we have about 10 employees, which are kind of dedicated for business who are based outside India. We also have a similar thing in our kind of business. Your product and technology team have to work with the global telco. So a lot of the teams that manages the RFPs and discussions are also based in India, but we have about 10 people deployed overseas in the Middle East geography, covering the Middle East geography, which is what we've talked about as our first real basis of overseas investment.
Okay, thank you so much for the detailed answers. If I can just squeeze in one small question. Recently, one of your global competitors has launched, is claiming to have launched this new technology called silent network authentication, which is an encryption on the SIM card number, which they are claiming is a better solution than OTP. So if you could just comment on that, do you see that as a better solution? And if at all, does Tanla have that capability if suppose the regulator says that it has to come in force?
These solutions have been around for quite some time. This solution has come from the GSMS standards, like. So a lot of vendors have tried in the last couple of years. It is not very successful, and we are not betting on that at all. So we strongly believe that SMS is very powerful, very easy to use, very, very fantastic reach. So I cannot really comment on what my competitors or somebody is doing it, but we are not betting on that.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering my question. All the best.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Amit Chandra from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir, and thanks for the opportunity. So my question is on the platform revenue. So you mentioned that 35% of the platform, roughly 35% is from Wisely, and if I take 35%, we are already at a run rate of around 1 billion yearly run rate. So your mention about reaching Wisely 1 billion in the next 2 quarters, is it only for one segment or is it for the overall platform? So one clarification on that. And also, if I X out Wisely from the platform revenues, then the X of that the drop in the platform revenue or the DLT platform is very, very severe. So like what is causing that? And the second question is on the pricing impact. So we are not seeing the impact of the ILD price hike on our enterprise business like revenues, and the another reason can be whether the impact on the volumes is pretty severe because of the ILD price hike. How we are seeing that?
Okay. So Amit, let me take the question on platforms. See, I think one of the things that we kind of talked about in detail is Wisely is a platform of digital interaction, right? So there are multiple platforms under it. And the expectation is each of those platforms under the Wisely umbrella would have the potential to reach 100 crore gross margin, right? So if you look at it, we've kind of called out 4 platforms which are in different phases: Wisely OTT, Wisely Network, Wisely Communicate, Wisely Engage, and then we talked about another platform that is in innovate phase, right? So our expectation is in the fullness of time, when it is fully mature, each of these platforms will have a potential to have 100 crore gross margin, and that's really the objective, right? We also talked about that one of these platforms, which is Wisely Network, is already close, is a good run rate as far as that is concerned, and that is why you see that number. It is not that collectively it is 100 crores, each of them individually should be 100 crores. So that's the first clarification to your point, right? The second point is, again, I kind of clarified last time, there is a certain cannibalization, particularly on the ILD side with Wisely Network, that is there when we have launched this new platform, right? So it is not right to say that Wisely revenues are zero in last year, and therefore this math will not, kind of make sense. TrueBlock has grown to 16% YOY, so there is no challenge with respect to TrueBlock, but obviously there has been some cannibalization as far as as we move some of the traffic to on the Wisely side, right? So that's the second point. Third point with respect to ILD pricing, definitely there has been an impact on volume with respect to pricing. We've seen some amount of benefit that's been spread over 2 quarters, Amit. So it's not like last time where it was much more apparent where the pricing doubled, right? Here the price went up by about 33%, right? And last time the price went up by 100%. So the visibility of that in FY22 was very, very stark, right? And this 33% also happened over 2-quarter period. It didn't happen exactly over 1 quarter because not all of it happened on 1st of July. So it happened over a phased manner. So to that extent, between volume erosion and the spread out over 2 quarters, maybe it is not as visible given the size of our ILD business that you would see. That's our perspective on that.
Okay. And sir, one more question I have. So the volume impact that we saw from one of the clients where we were working at a lower pricing. So the transition of that client has already happened, or are we already processing volumes at a lower price for the client?
So could you repeat that question, Amit?
So I was asking that the pricing reset that we had 2 quarters back for a particular large client. So are we seeing such pricing pressure on other clients as well, and are we still having volumes at the lower pricing for this particular account?
See, this particular account, as we are getting volumes, but we are getting much lower volumes, and the bigger volumes are moved to the other provider. And as far as if you ask this question, if you are facing a similar pressure elsewhere, as I said, things are much more stable now.
Okay, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thanks.
We take a next question from the line of Adesh Mehta from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Couple of questions from my side. First, about the product penetration improvement which you mentioned. So can you help us understand how it helps us in terms of either wallet share gain, or even if you can help us understand from revenue and margin perspective, whether the mix change also have some implication about revenue growth and margin trajectory in addition to wallet share gain? Second question is about the demand trend. Now we cater to multiple industries like BFSI, e-commerce and all those things. If you can help us understand any change in demand pattern you are witnessing in any of the industries, any softness or pocket of weakness which you are witnessing in the market. Last question is about the new channel revenues here. If you can provide some sense about SMS and non-SMS channels, how it is shaping us for us. You have mentioned about WhatsApp and run rate, but if you can provide overall holistic number or some sense about that business. And if I can add, last one is about the competitive changes. If you can provide, we have seen couple of MNC players entering into India through acquisition, and then obviously Telco is also expanding their presence in CPaaS space. So if you can provide any change in the competitive behavior you are witnessing across different kind of players. Thank you.
Okay. So let me start with product penetration, right, where we've said that it's moved from 1.6 to 2.1. So I will let Deepak elaborate in terms of what it means for a customer relationship. But clearly, what it means is that we are not tied to one channel from a customer standpoint. See, when we look at this channel, this product penetration, we are only looking at our top customers, right? So one of the points that we talked about is how, for example, our WhatsApp has grown and what's been our investment. So I think from just a holistic relationship, we want to ensure that we address all of the digital interaction needs of our customers, and that's where product penetration helps, right? So maybe Deepak will elaborate in terms of how it is helping in terms of our go-to-market. Deepak.
Yeah, Dipesh. So we have, other than SMS, we have voice, we have email, we have WhatsApp, we have Truecaller, and we have a lot of new products coming in. So our efforts are to ensure that we penetrate more and more channels, more and more products to our existing customers, and we have been quite successful in doing that. And that's how you have seen from 1.6 to 2.1. That's what this is a clear indication to that. And like one of the channel is WhatsApp. I mean our revenues this year would be almost 4x of the revenues what we would have done in the previous year. So WhatsApp is growing very well, and we have been able to push user journeys and the experience to our customers the way they wanted it, and they're very happy about it. And we have been winning new customers as well. Other than that, when we talk about innovation, we have, what we do is we sit with our customers and we understand their problems and their current problems, and we start working on that. So as Uday mentioned that we are working and we are about to launch a new platform and a new product, it is right, to address that, which we have seen that our customers are facing, and we started working on that, in the last few months. And now we are very near, we might be launching it in the current quarter. So this is how our journey has been, and and this is how we are going to move forward. It takes time when we go and we integrate new channels to our customers and to adopt those channels and to scale those new products and channels. But we are on the right path.
So Dipesh, does that answer your question?
To answer one of the question, I think I asked about demand trend across industries and other things.
Okay. So I think we kind of see the biggest bellwether industry for our business is banking, right? So Deepak kind of covered that as part of his opening remarks. While they are growing sequentially, definitely the kind of campaign spends or festive spends that we've seen in the past has definitely not happened, right? I would say that trend is pretty similar across the board, right, that we saw. That, while the business grew sequentially, we did not see a spurt of spending. And typically BFSI is a lead indicator on that. So that's really what we've seen from an industry. I wouldn't say there is very, very, divergent trend between industry, right? I would say BFSI is reflective of what we see in rest of the industry, right? I think from a new channel perspective, I would say that if I take my enterprise business on the back of WhatsApp, etc., maybe the non-SMS revenues are probably about 14%, right? So definitely that's moved a big way over the last 4 quarters on the back of WhatsApp, for sure, right? And from your last point in terms of MNC competition in terms of hiring, that really happened quite a bit time back, right? So now, I don't want to take specific names, it's not right, but in general, that is not a new development. I think it is remaining where it is, right? The industry, as Deepak mentioned, is competitive, but we are able to hold our own as far as volumes is concerned, and I think we will continue to build on what we have.
Sorry to persist in the last part. I am referring more from positive side perspective because some of those companies are facing their own battle. Whether the focus in the domestic market may have reduced and it could have positive implication for company like us. And about the 14% number which you have said for new channel, can you give comparable number? Let's say what that number might be last year.
So I think it would have gone down by about, or gone up by about 4% as a percentage of revenue. Right? What would have been 10 would have become 14 on the enterprise side of the business. Right? On the other point, I'll ask Deepak to kind of give you a perspective.
Yeah, Dipesh. So if you're referring to the global players who entered into India, they acquired few companies here, and so as I mentioned earlier, so there has been competition. There have been a telecom operator. There have been a couple of other guys, the local guys, who are going very aggressive. And these companies, they work on certain prices and they don't go down so easily and all that. So business has moved from one to another. But as far as we are concerned, as I mentioned, we are able to retain our wallet share. We are able to retain our customers, and we have grown our margins as well.
Understand. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Agarwal from Leeway Investments. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is regarding platform and enterprise business. As a layman, I understand that platform business is more of a premium service you're providing. So can we imagine that in the next 4 or 5 years, all enterprise business will be converted into platform business?
Amit, I could not hear you very clearly. Could you just repeat your question?
So my understanding as a layman is that it is more of a premium service. Enterprise business is more of a cheaper product, but they are getting to the same customer. So can we imagine that in the next 4 or 5 years, all enterprise business will be converted into platform business?
No, Amit, I don't think that's the right way of looking at it, right? Platforms are a different business and the enterprise side of the business is different, right? Platforms is where we deploy platforms, be it with the enterprise or telco for specific needs, right? The enterprise business is more in terms of, helping them communicate, right, with the end user, right? So it is not, one is not going to get substituted by the other. They are two very independent businesses with very different drivers for growth, and both have an interesting and exciting future ahead. And I don't think, that's the right way to look at it. It's not two ends of the same, transaction, right? It has very different use. So that would not be the right way of looking at it, Amit.
So that means our platform business is almost in a monopoly situation because no other telco or company is doing a platform business right now based on blockchain?
So definitely, monopoly is maybe a wrong word, but we are truly unique in terms of the kind of platforms that we offer, right? And therefore, definitely the competitive environment is very different there. It has different drivers. Uday talked about it in terms of in his opening remarks. Certain nuances of platform business is high profitability, scalability, customer stickiness. So, you will have those dynamics which are different, right? And that's why it's very, very attractive, and that's why there is so much focus on that from our side. But that does not mean that, it is an either or situation between enterprise and platform. They are different sides of a coin, and both are areas where we are investing in as a company.
And how scalable is platform business? Like right now, we are doing 10% compared to enterprise business. Can we imagine that it can overtake the volumes of enterprise business in the next 4 or 5 years?
So it's kind of difficult to say, right? But I'll tell you, definitely platform businesses are scalable and platform businesses are global, right? So clearly, it's going to be the beachhead on which we are going to do our global expansion. So it's difficult to kind of say, Amit, in terms of what could be the proportion in the future, right? I would encourage you to look at both of these businesses individually, right? And see it for what they are, rather than really look for a substitution piece.
Okay. My last question is, so right now platform business is 90. We're working on a very, very high margin. Can we sustain this margin in the long term? 90% plus?
So I'll tell you, globally, if you look at pure play platform companies, right, gross margins tend to be high. They tend to be 80% plus, right? May not be 96%, but could be 80% higher. But also these businesses have a huge investment in R&D and sales and marketing, right? So while, I don't want to say whether 96 is right or not, but you can safely presume that platform businesses will have very high gross margins.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit.
Our next question is from the line of Suresh Agarwal, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. So my first question is, if we are losing our competitive landscape to Route Mobile, second, our global presence is at present and going in future, and if we are planning for another some kind of future business for this.
So, so from a global business standpoint, clearly, there are aspirations, but like we have told many times, India is our core market today. Almost all our revenues come from India, and our strategy is to demonstrate the value proposition of our platforms in India before we scale them globally. Because if you really look at the kind of scale that India provides, and if you can succeed here, it's very easy to use that, to leverage that to succeed, right? And therefore, while we will have that kind of aspiration, to go global, today almost all of our business is in India, and that's how we are kind of talking about it, and we've been pretty consistent about that. Thanks.
Yeah. And any other future business, like other businesses we are considering?
So, Suresh, nothing at this stage, right? There is enough opportunity in our existing line of business, right, in terms of new platforms and on the enterprise side. So, as and when we come with something new, we will definitely keep, the market informed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I now give the floor back to the management for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for joining the call. In case any of your questions remain unanswered, you could please reach out to Investor Help Team. Good evening.
Thank you. On behalf of Tanla Platforms Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you.